Hello Team Zug, and today we're back with the big one. This is a custom showcase video you've all been waiting for. You have all the Scalloy Railway engines here, also with Mark V. And I'm here to introduce to you guys my narrow gauge OCs. Here they are. We have Hornsby, Benjamin, Port, Glasgow, Petrol, Trolley Pee Pee, and Montgomery. So I finally made my OCs. Well, actually, 2 weeks ago I actually started work on them, but I managed to finish the last one I needed to make, that being Hornsby, last night. Yeah, but we'll talk about how I made them and the reason why it took so long to make them. Let's talk about who are these characters. So if you guys don't know, back in 2020 I announced I wanted to make a narrow gauge series. And I'm still working on it. I'm almost done finalizing the lore behind it. Other than, here's the tips. 1. SRAU does not exist. This is his own railway in Scotland. It's just basically my own universe. Just, these are like the only Thomas characters in terms of engines are in it. Because I love the idea of giving the Scalloy Railway, imagine if the Scalloy Railway got its own spin-off show. That would be amazing. I would be the first person to watch it. And, basically, I wanted, if the Highland Railway's in Wales, then why not the Scalloy Railway in Scotland? I think that'd be pretty cool. And also, back in 2023, I came out with these 4, and recently, I came out with these 3. So yeah, of all the OCs I made over the years, these guys are genuinely my favorite, not gonna lie. Now let's talk about the characters and how I made them. I'll start from number-wise. First up, we have Hornsby, the number 14 of the Scalloy Railway. Now, Hornsby is a Ruston and Hornsby diesel, like Rusty. And fun fact, Rusty and Hornsby are actually brothers, just Hornsby is a different model. Hornsby is based on the Highland Railway's original number 8 Mistreeper, I think. I can't really pronounce the name of that diesel. But yeah, long story short, that diesel's no longer part of the Highland Railway because in 2016 they sold it for some reason. And no one is certain what became of it. So that's kind of a shame because I kind of like that diesel design. It's a cute diesel design. But in my universe, Hornsby represents that diesel, number 8. But unlike the diesel, he doesn't leave the Scalloy Railway. In fact, he stays on the railway because Mr. Percival would never sell any of his engines. Well, in my universe, he did donate Smudger, Jerry, Jim, Tim, and Atlas to the Narrow Gauge Museum, which is also in Scotland, which is nearby, but that's for a good cause. Anyways, here's Hornsby. I like Hornsby's character. So Hornsby, in my opinion, he's a nice diesel. He's based on Paxton, although he has a bit of a gossip, he likes to be a bit nosy. He's a mix between Paxton from Thomas and Friends and Mrs. Porty from Ivor the Engine. Also, his face, I tried to replicate Alfie's face. Originally, he was going to have freckles, but I decided not to give him freckles. But his face kind of looks like sunshine from Tugs. That's pretty cute. Oh yeah, if you want to know what his voice would sound like, picture Rolly the racing car, like the main character Rolly from Rolly the racing car. That is literally my voice for Hornsby. So yeah, here's Hornsby. By the way, I made him out of a tickle and rusty, and I just added air drying clay, and I cut off the original face and added air drying clay all around. So yeah, that's Hornsby. Now let's move on to Benjamin. Benjamin is based on the Thailand Railway's other engine they sold off, their number 10 Benagris. And like number 8 Mishria, or Minesweeper, or something, if that's the name, I think it's a shame that Thailand Railway sold their number 10 as well. But unlike number 8, number 10 was sold in 2014. And unlike number 8, we do know where number 10 ended up. But it's on static display. Of course, with the Thailand Railway buffers removed. Honestly, kind of a shame because I really like that diesel design. Anyways, Benjamin, like Hornsby, he's not going to get sold off. He's going to stay on the Skyline Railway. In fact, I have a cool headcanon for Benjamin because Benjamin is built in 1985, so he's like one of the younger engines. And his character, he's based on Horace from the Buried Truck, like Horace from the Western Southern Railway, and Top Hat. So basically, he speaks like this. Unsurprisingly, that I was brought here. I'm sure you steam engines did your best, but you really delicate. Stand aside and let the heavy work to me. Yeah, he sounds like that. Of all the characters I made back in 2023, Benjamin has the most character development because I have a whole storyline for him, which I hopefully one day I could share with you. He's made from the 2012 Tick and Play Rusty, and his wheels don't move sadly because they're kind of locked in. So yeah, other than that, that's Benjamin. Alright, here we got the twins, Port and Glasgow. Now, Port and Glasgow were built based on Thailand Railway's number 11 and 12, Chukun and Sinkanvan. So yeah, they're basically what you get if Bill and Ben were diesel engines, but also narrow gauge. Ironically, their origin is similar to Duncan's. These two were named after the town Port Glasgow, hence the names, because in my headcanon, there was a little factory for narrow gauge diesel engines at Port Glasgow, but it went bankrupt. And these two didn't like their home anyways because they found it boring. So when they were told they were being sold to the Scally Railway, they were really excited. Yep, I like to imagine Mr. Percival just repainted both twins in different colours so they could tell them apart. So yeah, Port and Glasgow, they're comic relief characters. Really good characters I wrote. So yeah, they're made out of a 2012 Rusty. But this time, unlike Benjamin, they can move on their own. So that's pretty cool. Alright, now we get onto the characters I recently created. So here's the number 18 of the Scarlet Railway, Petrol. Now Petrol is actually based on the original number 5 of the Thailand Railway, that being the lawnmower, which was built from spare parts, like the chassis from a truck, the engines from a boat canal, and all that. Number 5, the lawnmower, wasn't really successful and it was dismantled in the 1980s. Not the 1950s, sorry. So, but in my headcanon, maybe Petrol and the other character we'll talk about were the original numbers 5 and 7 of the Scarlet Railway, or better yet, they did not get numbers. Mr. Percival, who I believe was like a volunteer at the time, took pity on Petrol and this character right here, and managed to convince the higher-ups to not scrap them, but instead keep them around as shunters. So that's what happened. But eventually, years later, when Mr. Percival became the controller, these two officially became members of the railway, given numbers. Now, Petrol is a bit of a pessimistic character. He's based on Toby from Tobias and a Half Pariah, specifically that version, and a little bit of Arcane Merchant, and Boomer from Tugs. He's a bit jaded, scared, worried, and And believe it or not, he doubts that he is a really useful engine and he should be scrapped. But thanks to his best friend, Trolley Pee Pee, he actually finds the will to live, and once he's fixed up, he's good to go. Now, I did make a mistake because there's meant to be a big pipe around here, but I like the idea that they moved the pipe inside of him. That's pretty cool. Alright, let's move on to Trolley Pee Pee, number 19. So Trolley Pee Pee was... Oh yeah, by the way, the chassis came from a Take and Play Duke tender, and the body's made of edge clay. Anyways, Trolley Pee Pee is number 19, and he is just like his best friend Petrol. He was made out of spare parts. But unlike Petrol, who's a bit pessimistic, Trolley Pee Pee's more optimistic. He always sees the bright side of life, and he's just a kind-hearted soul. Now, Trolley Pee Pee was made out of a Take and Play Dart, which I cut off the cab, made the chair of air drying clay, the roof made of air drying clay, and cut off the front wheel of Dart, and basically I used tiny batteries for his front pony wheels. Now, it doesn't run very well, but that's okay. He looks good. Shout out to Railfans Tag 1 for giving me this idea. And finally, we move on to my recent OC, the number 20 of the Scholarly Railway, Montgomery. Now, Montgomery is actually one of the Ministry Defence diesels that was sent by the War Department during World War II. However, unlike his two siblings, Amy Lee and Jonathan, Montgomery was a kind-hearted diesel. Unfortunately, he had a bad accident and was left to be abandoned. Years later, Trolley Pee Pee and Petrol would find him, and they take him to Mr. Percival, and he restored Montgomery and made him part of his railway. So, yeah, Montgomery is really grateful to Petrol and Trolley Pee Pee, and they are a little trio. They stick together. By the way, Trolley Pee Pee is also based on Oliver when he's a tram engine, and Montgomery is based on Montague when he was a diesel, so that's pretty cool. And we're done. I finally did it. I finally made a video on my OCs. Now these guys have been my favorite OCs I have ever created, and I hope I would make stories about these guys because they're not just characters I added, they're like a family in a weird way. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I made Montgomery out of a den. Just screw off the body shell. Anyways, I just forgot to mention that. But anyways, I think these guys are S-tier characters, in my opinion. And I hope I get to write stories about these guys. And eventually when I make the Scholarly Railway series, it'll be perfect. So here are the numbers. 301 to 22. Scholarly number 1, Rhaenyra number 2, Sir Hanold number 3, Pearson number 4, Rusty number 5, Duncan number 6, Fearless Freddy number 7, Duke number 8, Fred number 9, and Mighty Mac being number 10, and I still need to work on numbers. I think Bertrand will be number 11, so Bertrand will be number 11, Harris and Adeline will be numbers 12 to 13. Hornsby number 14. Benjamin number 15. Paul and Glasgow number 16, 17. Petrol number 18. Trolley Pee Pee number 19. Montgomery number 20. Eiffel Hugh number 21. And Luke number 22. So yeah, those are my OCs. I hope you guys like them. If you like them, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!